Hello, welcome to Girl Talk with Kathleen and Brandy. I'm Kathleen.
I'm Brandy.
This is my friend Brandy. We decided to start this podcast to talk to ladies, to have girl talk with our girlfriends. And Brandy's going to tell you a little bit about herself.
All right. I am Brandy, and like Kathleen said, hey, we are here to do Girl Talk. What is Girl Talk? Girl Talk is for women, okay? It's Girl Talk. Girl Talk is for adult women. Just a little bit about myself. My name is Brandy Watts. I am a licensed professional counselor. I've been a therapist for probably about 15 years now. And so my niche is Girl Talk, is women. So over the years, just talking to women, some of the common things that come up, we're talking about, relationships. We're talking perimenopause, menopause, we're talking balancing, we're talking empty nesters and stuff. And so excited just to be able to share some of the, I guess, my professional experiences as well as my real life experiences as being a wife and a mom.
And a woman over 40.
And a woman over 40, I love to say I'm almost 50. 77, established in 77.
Now, are the majority of your clients women then in that age bracket?
Okay, so the majority of my clients are women. I do have some couples.
Okay.
And even with the couples, my couples typically are they're couples that are 38 older, but most of them are pretty much in their 40s, maybe even 50s. I've had some clients as maybe up to about the age of 75.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you were hearing common themes among those women about different topics and different subjects.
Yes.
Okay.
And one of the things that stands out to me, I don't care if these ladies were in their 20s, 30s, 40s, even 70s, friendships, relationships, the need to be connected with other women.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's important. The way that Brandy and I connected was actually through an app called Marco Polo. If you're not familiar with that app, I have been using Marco Polo since 2018.
Okay.
2018, my friend who lives here in the Dallas area, we were looking for a way to feel more connected, and we're not phone talkers.
Okay.
So she said, I use this app called Marco Polo with my daughters, and initially, when she was talking about it, I said, what's the difference in that and texting? Because texting kind of covers it. And she said, well, I will say that my experience with texting, and I think this is going to resonate with someone who's listening today, is that you can't hear tone of voice. You can't see someone's face and what they're feeling. And so I think we've all had that experience where you get a text from someone and you're like, oh, what is she trying to say? She wasn't trying to say nothing.
Right.
She wasn't trying to say nothing. She definitely wasn't trying to hurt your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't trying to hurt your feelings. When you see someone face to face, you have that vulnerability, you have that empathy, all the things that help build relationships. So Brandy and I met. Marco Polo they have an ambassador program, and they connect Marco Polo users, other Marco Polo users from around the world, and they find these connection points, connection groups. And we actually both joined a fitness wellness group because we're so fit and so well.
Right.
And we realized we had a lot in common. I'm also a trained counselor and a licensed life coach, same as Brandy. And we realized that even though we look different, we sound different, we're from completely different parts of the United States. Brandy's still raising babies. Not babies, but teenagers. My babies are grown and gone. And but we realized we had so much in common. And the more we started talking, we've known each other for, I think we met last summer on Marco.
Marco Polo, yeah.
The more we started talking about these subjects in this group with other women, we realized there are so many things that we wished our moms and our grandmoms had talked to us about that they hadn't?
Yeah.
And what are some of those topics for you?
Again, perimenopause.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the thing about perimenopause? Some of you all that are listening, you're probably like, Peri who? Perimenopause was something that I did not even know about.
Hadn't even heard the word.
Had never heard. Very familiar with menopause because, of course, when we're in school, we learn about menstruation, the change. You learn about when you go through puberty. We talk. So pretty much as a woman, I knew that I was going to have a period. And I knew I was going to go through menopause. Didn't know about anything in between. So about 2018 was when I first heard about perimenopause. I was talking to one of my girlfriends about the joint aches, just some of the changes. And so she was like, you know what? I bet you're going through perimenopause. And again, like some of you, like, what is perimenopause? So I did like most of us. I go to the internet and I'm searching perimenopause.
Dr. Google.
And I'm like, OMG, the brain fog, the fatigue, all of these things that I was dealing with that I thought it was just because I was a mother of, at the time, they were about maybe early, like elementary age children or whatever. So I thought it was that. So once I'm, talking to my girlfriends and then they started talking about, maybe like hormone replacement therapy and everything, I'm talking to my mom and my mom, she had a hysterectomy. So she didn't go through some of these things.
As did mine.
My grandmother, she had a hysterectomy. So she didn't go through these things. So it was a lot they just didn't know about, right? And so now my sister, I'm 12 years older than my sister, I am constantly talking to my sister about these things because I'm like, we got to talk about it.
We have to.
And it should not be taboo. It is not taboo. It is a part of being a woman.
I think it's still taboo in our grandmothers and our mothers' age group. Yeah. I remember my mother when I first got my period, and she said, no one should know that you have your period. No one should know. You just didn't talk about those things. You just didn't talk about those things. You definitely didn't talk about menopause. It was just called the change, and it was this elusive, mystical thing of someday you'll go through the change.
Yeah.
They didn't tell me everything would change. Like everything will change.
What does the change entail?
And it's a lot. We now know it's brain function, it's body function, it's our emotional wellness, it's our
sexual health,
absolutely. Even digestive health.
Yes.
I have been very surprised at the amount of women our age who deal with constipation issues. They deal with a lot of turmoil, literally turmoil, in their digestive health. Yeah. And that can highly impact us as women because we're busy, we're out and about, and we're worrying about, okay, where's a bathroom?
Correct.
These are real things, and
they really are.
There's a stigma and a shame on them, and they shouldn't. There shouldn't.
And I think one of the reasons with the stigma, it comes from aging. Men, they can age, and we think about, you hear the silver fox. Okay. Men, they have this distinguishedness about them with aging. With women, we are often the ones, we're covering up our gray hair. Okay. I'm so grateful for jet black dye. We getting older, is sometimes it's frowned upon, so to speak. It's a blessing, but nobody wants to be old. And so a lot of us, when we hear menopause, there's a connection of, I'm old. You'll be amazed at the women that I've talked to, and when perimenopause comes up, they're like, oh, no, I'm not.
They're only in their mid-40s.
They're like, they're saying, I'm not old enough for that. And so I'm like, if you do the research, perimenopause can start in your 30s.
It can.
And so many women are suffering because they don't know. Maybe they're in denial, or they just don't know. And again, it's that, oh my God, the loss of, for some women, the idea of never being able to have children again, even though they may not want children, but it's something about, this is this is happening.
Yes.
And so I think that's one of the reasons that a lot of times we don't talk about it until now. I am so glad that with social media, there, and we even have, I follow a few platforms on Instagram, Facebook that talks about perimenopause and menopause. I did not know that there's a small percentage of gynecologists that are experts in perimenopause and menopause.
I had never heard of perimenopause from my OBGYN, and I transitioned out of OBGYN care, and I went instead to a certified midwife.
Okay.
So these are nurses who were in the OBGYN area. I mean, they were labor and delivery nurses who went back to school to become midwives. So there's a difference in a midwife and a certified midwife. A certified midwife have to have started out as a nurse in labor and delivery. They have to have witnessed and helped to deliver a certain amount of babies. So they were much more in tune to those type things. And I think that's because they do like to treat and talk about the whole body. So when I went in with some issues in my OBGYN, wasn't completely sure, the certified nurse midwife was more open to discussing other things. So, but one of the main reasons that we wanted to start this podcast was because we wanted to be a safe space to discuss things that sometimes women are embarrassed to discuss or don't know how to discuss. And we wanted to be that safe and open space. Some things you're not going to hear us talk about, and we've already discussed this. You will not hear us talk about politics. You're not going to hear us talk about religion. You're not going to hear us talk about social issues, because we want to be, there is enough division and divisiveness already. If you want to find things like that, you can type in any word and find that. And some people love engaging in all that sort of back and forth and things like that. This isn't the space for that. This is going to be a place of inclusion and not division. Correct. That's one thing that we talked about.
Correct.
So,
correct. Yeah, I love it. And we're hoping that you will find something that you're like, oh my goodness, I thought it was just me. Oh, wow, I never knew. And we're hoping that you will enjoy this so much that you will invite your girlfriends to come and watch.
Yes, we definitely hope that. So that wraps up our introductory pilot episode. And we will probably come back next week. And I think our first topic will be friendships. So we hope you have a great day. Thanks for tuning in with us.
Bye-bye.